Now then, people, and good evening, and welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. I hope you are all doing well. We are here to finally, I think, now draw a line under the end of the season, draw a line under Southampton, because we all need to now, have that switch, just like the players do, just like Farker does, just like everybody around Leeds United do. We need to switch it now and say, right, okay, Norwich are in our sights and we play them on Sunday. But we will talk about, obviously... So, look, I hadn't had a chance to do one of these shows on Southampton because after the game, I was on the floor with it. You know, I'd agreed for people to come on post-match. I sent them messages saying, look, I can't do it. I can't sit through it. So I was getting cooked in the chat. I was biting back at people in the chat, and I thought, it's just going to go one way. Like, I'm going to lose my shit, they're going to lose my shit, and we're all just going to be angry. So I just thought, go away. So I went away. I went on a hike yesterday. That was great. Had a chat earlier on with Connor, One Leeds. That was a great vid. Enjoyed that. Make sure you do check that out as well. It was actually really good, if I do say so myself. It's been well received as well, so big up to everyone in the chat for that. But I knew that I needed to get these lads on. You know, we had to get these lads on to go through it. I wanted to get their thoughts. Bit of therapy, bit of post-match therapy. The final word. The title says playoff hopes hang in the balance. And what I mean by that is, like, the form going into it. It doesn't really fill me with any confidence, if I'm being totally honest. Like, it's mad because I've gone from being the uber positive dude to now history of Leeds United in the playoffs, the form that we're in. Admittedly, no one's playing really well. You could argue Norwich are the form team, in all honesty, out of all of us, if anyone is considered to be in form. But yeah, that's enough waffle from me. Let's get straight to hear what the other lads have said, because I've not had a chance to hear their thoughts yet. So, Lockie, talk to me, mate. Where you at?
Yeah, I'm over it. I'm just still a bit. You get over one thing and another thing pops up, doesn't it? So it's just playoffs now. You get over the season and then we've got this bloody playoffs to deal with. I don't know, mate. I'm so lost. I'll be honest. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to feel. I'm just kind of at the point where I'm just going to take it as it comes. Look, if we go there and we're rubbish, we don't go up, fine. If we go there, we go to Wembley. Yeah, we have a win or we don't. That could be the best day or the worst day of our lives. So. Yeah, look, I hate them. I hate the playoffs. I hate them too. They're horrible. They're absolutely horrible. And the fact that we have to wait between legs as well, it's just, it's horrible. Can't just play like 2 games in one day and just get it over and done with. That'd be ideal, wouldn't it? But, mate, yeah, season's finished. This is like a tournament now. Realistically, you know, you want to get to the final. You got to win or draw. You can't lose. It's quite simple. We've got to be better than them. We can take our preview. We beat them twice in the league. Don't matter now. We've got to be better than them in the next 2 games. We've got 2 more to go. We've got to beat them. And whoever's in the final, we've got to be better than them. The lads have got to get over the season. It's done. These 3 games away from the Premier League. 3 games. No points to play for, just 3 games away from the Premier League. Go out there and, if anything, like, this could be some of the players' last games for this club. Just end on a good memory. Everyone loves to end on a good memory. End it on a good memory and move on if you have to. If they do their best and they try their hardest and they turn up and we just didn't have enough, we didn't have enough. But I want that. I want them to try. I want them to put every single fibre of their body into it. Because we all will be, whether we're sat here, whether we're at the stadium, you know, we're going to put everything into it. So we need those guys too as well, because we do that. And we've seen when this team's together and happy and it feels good, then players are unstoppable. But we need to get back to that. That's the key.
Yeah. I mean, obviously everyone's been rewriting history and saying, you know, we need Gordon and you know, when we're not the best. I still stand by the point for me that on our day we're still the best team in the league, regardless of where we finished. In my opinion, I think on our day,
it's not an opinion; it's factual. The 2 teams that finished above us, we smacked twice this season. So.
True. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. That's a better way of putting it. Next time anyone gives me grief, I'll say, no, it's factual. We beat you both. It's true.
Beat you both twice.
Yeah, exactly. Comfortably so as well. Maybe not Leicester as comfortable, Leicester, but yeah, maybe not.
We're really lucky in that one, but it doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah, Abdullah Al-Fuzan. Also, I want to apologise. There was 2 super chats in the video earlier on at lunchtime that I missed, and I can't remember who put them, and I'm sorry, but if you I mean, I can't remember your name, so I was going to say if you put a comment in now, I'll bring it up, but I can't because I can't remember your name. So, yeah, I missed them. I did apologise. But Abdullah Alfuzan says, just bumped into Sammy Smodics. We live in the same building in Manchester. Told him about Leeds. He said he would love to join. He thinks we win the playoffs too. I mean, if that's... Yeah,
what building's that? I might pay him a visit myself.
Yeah. Lockie lives in Manchester as well. And,
a pretty expensive building, you'd presume, if it's if Schmodics is living there. Of that football money.
Yeah, definitely.
There's one or two of them.
And also, Abdullah Al-Fuzan, if you're living in the same building as Sammy Schmodics, please up your super chat next time. $4.99.
Definitely.
What's going on? What's going on? I'm joking, man, of course. But yeah, please put some more in. Justin Thomas says, heads up and kick on. Marching on together, all leads our way. Yeah, 100%. Joe Blackburn, do you think we can get our heads up and kick on?
I think we can get our heads up and kick on as well as any of the other teams in the playoffs, because in the last 4 matches of the season, every single team in the playoffs has at most one win, which feels like it's basically the playoffs are as shit as they can possibly get, which means that no one is coming into it on form and everyone is basically having to have this hard reset. I think having Norwich is probably more of a blessing in disguise than we thought it was, because they're the one team that we've actually beaten out of the rest of the playoffs. So there's potential to pick up a little bit of momentum, do what we did against them before, a little bit more midfield control than we've had towards the end of the season. Maybe pop Ampadu back in there, but I know Connor didn't like it when I said maybe not Cresswell earlier. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, it's. I'm glad it's Norwich above anyone else, but it's a situation where I think every single team in that playoff fight has to pick their heads up at this point. So I don't see why we wouldn't be able to, but all the other teams would.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. What did you make to the performance, John, on Saturday though? It was bleak. I think from both sides, if I'm honest, lad. I think although they beat us, I think it was pretty bleak. So it was almost like a carbon copy without the 4 goals that QPR scored. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think what happened was, in the early stages of the match, we did something a little bit different that we've not really seen that much as of late, at least with Piru in the team. That was, okay, we'll press them like relatively high and hard. And I feel like that's why we didn't have that much of a midfield. And that's where Piru's goal came from. But the issue that I found following that is the moment we learned that it was 2-0, we were already losing, but it felt like the players just sort of went, sod it then. Because Huddersfield aren't going to pull that back. Yeah. So to see that second half as representative of anything would be a little bit funky, I think, because it won't be, because players are going to give more of a shit in a playoff game than they are against Southampton in a dead rubber 45 minutes when they already know it's not going to be automatic promotion.
For sure. And you know what? I think, like Paul said, it almost in the second half it did a little bit for me. It was, I can't even remember commentating on the game because nothing fucking
really
happened.
Died, didn't it?
Yeah, it was just rubbish. Yeah. And the atmosphere doesn't help either. And I get that, because if you're in the ground, it's like, well, what's the point? It's all over kind of thing. JT, mate, how do you see it, mate? I know you've also sort of become less confident over the last few weeks on here anyway.
Not less confident. No, I checked out 3 weeks. Was it Blackburn when we lost that home game? I said the second we lost, I said it from months ago. I said if we go the entire season at home unbeaten, which, you know, if you look at the games, if we'd have won all of those games or even gone unbeaten, then we would have got promoted easily. But once we lost that with 2 or 3 games to go, I thought, written in the mud. Kind of built myself up a little bit, but after the QPR game, I knew. Like, my dad was still like, yes, hoping down to the last game. I was like, nah, listen, I don't even care. Like, after the game, I wasn't even angry in that Southampton game. I genuinely didn't care. I knew we weren't going to be done. Like, for a split second, I was kind of like, yeah, let me get myself up for it. But Ipswich never even went behind once. I was never really in any position where I was that excited or that hoping. So, no, to be honest, after the game, I was chilling, got myself ready for, Backlash in the evening, and had a good evening. I didn't really care that much. But now we do actually have something to play for. It's the playoffs. I'm getting a bit geared up for that. And although we haven't performed very well in the playoffs in my lifetime, I mean, listen, this is the tragedy of it. In my lifetime, we've played 3 playoffs. lost every single one of them, lost to Watford, lost to Derby, and the most humiliating one, which I watched while I was on holiday in Barcelona, was us losing to Doncaster in the League One playoff final. So, no, not a good track record at all, but it is a new Leeds team, and I don't know, I for some reason, I'm getting a sneaking good feeling about this, which is very rare for me to even say in the playoffs, but I'm getting a bit of a feeling, and you know what? I would absolutely love a trip to Wembley. I really, really would. If it all pans out as it could, then I could be very excited. And I think the trip to Wembley would be the easiest game. The hard thing for me is a matter of getting to Wembley because, well, it depends who we play at Wembley. If we play Southampton, cigars are out, sunglasses are up, hands are up, easiest win of the century. If we play West Brom, I think we'll get a hiding because, I mean, it's just typical Leeds, isn't it? Carlo, listen, man, I don't know. West Brom seem like one of those teams that would beat us, and Norwich gives me a little bit of fear as well. The reason I say Norwich gives me fear is because we've beaten them twice already this season. Okay, giving me Derby vibes going into it. What are the odds you're going to beat a team four times in one season? I don't know. Listen, we beat Derby 3 times. We got a hiding the 4th time. That's what gives me a bit of skepticism there. Whereas, as I said, with Southampton, it's the opposite factor. What are the odds that they beat Leeds 3 times in one season? Very, very slim. They've already beat, they've already got two games off us. Are they going to get the third? No, which is what gives me confidence there. Tactically, that doesn't really bear any relevance, but tactics and form and all these kind of things don't bear relevance in the playoffs. Because if they did, the team that finished third would always win.
Yeah.
But it's cup football. Anything can happen in cup football. We've got to bide our luck. We've got to play defensively strong. That's probably the one alarm bell. I'd say defensively, we have been leaking goals left, right, and centre. Like, it's been abysmal.
Can you put your finger on that, bro? Like, what's gone? Any of you?
I think we used all of our luck when we went on that crazy 10-game streak, not conceding a goal from open play. I don't know what the hell happened after that. We changed the personnel a little bit, but even then, we put original personnel back. We went back to the same partnerships, and it just hasn't kicked on. I think it's a confidence factor. I think it's mental fatigue going into the end of the season. I think that all played a big factor in it. And once your head's gone a little bit and the momentum's gone and you've got, it sounds stupid to say, but you've got used back into the routine of conceding goals, sloppy goals. It's kind of hard to shake that. So hopefully we can use this week as sort of a mental reset and start as its own mini season. And I think even the players and Fark, looking at how they played on the weekend, and listen, Fark's decision, bringing Rutter off in the 60th, 70th minute, that screams resting for the playoffs. That screams, okay, this game doesn't mean anything. Let's rest for the playoffs. So let's get that in our head. So is Fark the kind of guy that's going to be able to stick a rod up their ass like Bielsa could and really give us a reset over a week period? I don't know. That's what we're going to find out.
Yeah. One thing from that, Joe, the defensive stuff you're talking about.
Yeah.
One thing I've noticed is, so now with Ampadu and Rodon, every team we come up against, they're putting 2 up against them. So it's 2-on-2. That takes away kind of the positional kind of play you can do as a centre back. If you've got one striker you're dealing with, or one attacker you're dealing with, it's quite easy to cover. It's quite easy to, So
is it more what the opposition are doing against us?
I think so. Obviously, as well, when you lose, it's confidence, and the rest of the team in front of you is not moving. So there's no distribution. Yeah. But it is a mix of confidence. Obviously, after the Wales stuff, of course. But then there's teams are like look at Blackburn. They had Smodics and is it Pearson?
Yeah. No, Sam Gallagher. Sorry. Sam Gallagher?
Sam Gallagher.
Yeah.
Just playing 2 up top, winning the physical battles because the good defenders, they are. Joe Rodon's got really good recovery pace. He's really good in a tackle 1v1, but they're not physical. They're not really physical. Rodon isn't that physical. He's a bit of a warrior and stuff, but he's not that physical. And he got beaten in the air a lot recently, especially in that Blackburn game. And he saw the same at Southampton. Armstrong would tuck inside and get beyond, and it left 2v2 centre backs and 2 strikers, and then you're in trouble because then you've got Firpo 1v1 with no one recovering, trouble, and the same down the other side. So teams are adjusting for us, defining ways to exploit us. I think that's what you lose with Pascal. Pascal is physical. He wins those battles quite easily, usually. He just shoves the striker off. Ampadu isn't. He's a centre midfielder. He's not a centre back. It's not his main position. Shout out to Andrea who said that. He said originally, he's not a centre back. He gets bullied there when he gets found out about it, and he does at times. Excellent player, unbelievable player, but yeah, we're missing. Now we can say we are missing Pascal Stroud. when them teams do play 2 physical guys or 1 quick guy and 1 physical guy, we are struggling because of that. That partnership took a bit of a hit. I'm just worried. One thing I'm worried about, I don't. This is truly speculative. I don't think this is true. Is that their kind of trust for each other hasn't dropped? Given what happened at Wales and the recent goals. I hope it hasn't. I don't think it will have, because them two, they've been together for years. Wales national team, now they're here together. They'll be really close and they'll have a really good partnership. So they need to discover that again. Otherwise, we're in trouble, to be honest.
100%. I agree. Joe, obviously, Lockie's mentioned there the way teams are setting up tactically against us. In my post-match, I said I just don't understand how we can go from being imperious, like no one could get through. Like I remember Norwich having like almost 70% of the ball when we played them at Ellen Road, and we just said have it, because I think they ended up having like 3 touches in the box after so long, and it was like you had all the ball, you didn't do all with it, and we just get you on the counter. Now, at the minute, it looks like every time a team goes forward, they could get a shot off, and if they get a shot off the way the keeper's playing at the minute, it's going in the fucking back of the net, unfortunately. As much as that pains to say me, but he needs to be criticised for his performances of late. But someone mentioned it in the chat, I didn't star it, but is it also a mentality issue as well? Like after what happened away at Wales, Dan James, Rodon, Ampadu, we came back. I think, is it 8 points out of a possible 24 or something we collected? I don't know. Like, it's such a bad drop off, and I know we're not scoring goals, but at least we were great at the back. But now it's like we're just shit in both areas. I hate to say it, but we are.
Yeah, I think, especially with the Welsh lads, you're going to be in a bit of a weird spot where they've gotten to a basically identical place as this with their own national team. Like a couple of months ago, they've gotten to a playoff situation and it didn't work out for them. And that's something that I'm a little bit worried might be like taking over in their heads. It might be a situation of, well, we've been here before and it didn't work before. So were there issues that happened in those matches? Was the Ampadu-Rodon pairing, because they won't have been a pair in that match, I think Ampadu would have maybe played in midfield, I'm not 100% sure. But is there a chance that there was maybe a couple of mistakes there? Are they not 100% like in sync? And then at the same time, you've got the Dan James issue to consider, which I feel like if he was in the side the last couple of weeks, we look a hell of a lot better. Also, I think Crystal Palace have scored a 4th.
Wow.
But I feel like
just to start, by the way, just to jump in on that. Manchester United have now conceded 21 goals in 8 games, so it's not as bad as that. There is that.
I'm gonna cook some people, mate, because they were ready to flame me. And as we know, most Man U fans live around my neck of the woods, nowhere near Manchester, so they're about to get cooked.
I've got Mateta in my fantasy team, so hopefully he's got a second. So. Anyway, go on, Joe. Back to your point, mate. He hasn't. What a goal that is by Elise, by the way. What a player he is. But go on, sorry.
That's fine. I feel like if we would have had Dan James in the side the last few weeks, things would have been a bit different, because he would have approached the game almost entirely differently to Nonto would, because we know that Nonto has that tendency to get that silly yellow card, and then he can't play his Nonto game anymore. Like, the one at the weekend was, I think, one of the most pathetic yellow cards a referee has ever given, because it's a chest bump, and you can just say, lads, calm down. Next time, no. But for some reason, he's gone yellow card, and then then you can't do anything else to either of those players because you've given the worst red card in human history. But I think if we've got Dan James, maybe we're a little bit more direct in those positions. Maybe we're a little bit better in terms of sort of transitional stuff, which I feel like we're sort of lacking an edge in right now. Having Pirro at the top hasn't helped that either, because, as we mentioned, he sits a fair bit deeper than a Bamford does. Yeah, I think a combination of maybe the confidence knocked from the playoffs the last time out, as well as the Welsh lads thinking, is it happening again in the last few weeks, could be an issue, but I think there's plenty of time to sort of bounce back and try and fix things.
As well as just to add to
mate,
that, with Ampadu in these 3 relegations in 3 seasons, like that's got to be tough for a guy. As an individual, that's got to be really tough. But what that can do though is really motivate you in a way. He's been through those 3 disappointments. He's found a home here. He's had an unbelievable season, Ampadu has. He really has. He's struggled recently, but he's not honestly struggled, but he's not been at his elite level that he's been at this level. And now to be in this situation, is he a type of player who uses that hurt in his career that he's had for the last 3 years of 3 relegations, not making the top 2, and does that really motivate him to be that proper leader that we badly need right now? That would be my message and my task to him, because we need him at his best. We really do. We need him to win every duel. We need him to drag the team if he has to. We really do, because he's a top player, and we saw it for most of the season how important he is. He played almost every minute because he's so important to us, and he's the captain right now. And we need that guy, and we need him to be really motivated to want to win, because he's been through a lot of relegations and missing out on the playoffs. The stuff with Wales in the space of 4 years, that's got to be tough. Yeah. But he's got to use that now as motivation and end that streak and get a win finally, for me.
Agreed. Abdullah Al-Fazoon said, I'll send you the selfie on Twitter, mate, but don't show it. He did, and there was a picture with him and Sammy Schmodix. He's asked me not to share it, but he did. He has shown it me, so don't worry. Callie says, Ipswich fan here, banter aside, and we've had lots between us. Generally want you guys to join us and smash them budgies on Big Up Chaz, the Punjabi Whites. Let's talk about Norwich then. Obviously, Ipswich will become Leeds fans for the next 2 fixtures at least. There's a case of like, what would you do, and what do you actually think Farke will do? Because we can all sit here and say, I'd probably maybe give Klassen a go, or whatever. I mean, I wouldn't make that claim, by the way, but some would. Start Joseph and others. Like, what can we actually do? Like, we've all spoke about something needs to change. We need to get up for it. We know all this, right? But what will they actually do? Like, what is it? Just a case of Farke G'ing him up, or does he need to change something on the pitch? Because I think there's a genuine conversation for getting Ampadu back in midfield, and if that means playing Captain Cooper at left centre back, then so be it. But no, I know people will go. Well,
no,
go on, JT. Go on, take it.
No. You're seriously going to sit here and tell me to put Liam Cooper at centre back in a playoff semi-final match? In a playoff semi. Remember what happened last time he played centre back in a playoff semi-final match?
That was a bit more
Kiko,
the
entire game by slide tackling Kiko Casilla. No,
more
Kiko.
The perfect.
That was
Kiko,
I think.
Change the gaffer, and then we'll have no problem. No, I'm joking. Listen, there's a lot of potential changes that would be made. Liam Cooper is not one of them. I love the guy, but listen, this is playoff football. You're not going to change the back 2 in this kind of game. Putting Ampadu in the midfield for me when he's hasn't featured a lot there for Leeds, too big of a gamble in the playoffs. You don't want to make changes like that. You want to make changes which will still keep the team flowing in the same way they would. The most obvious change, if Bamford isn't fit, either Gelhard or Joseph have to go up front. Why one of those two have not got a kick in these last few weeks, I don't have a clue. That's not even me sagging off Perot. Listen, he scored a nice goal. It's a good goal. It was a good finish. Well taken. He's not pressing the same way. And not even looking at the angles of what Perot can't do. Joseph or Gelhard, who I think has actually looked really good when he's had a few minutes, would just add so much more dynamism to this team, so much more unpredictability. And also, listen, Joseph, okay, his form is tailed off a little bit because he hasn't had the game time to really build on that Chelsea game. But all of his abilities, his technical ability, his pacing behind, his finishing, it would give us a completely different dimension. And that is the big change I would make. In terms of just behind them, you can't take Somerville out, you can't take Nonto out, you can't take Rutter out. Those 3 have to be there. Midfield 2, the only question for me is, do you slide Archie Gray in there? I know there's been a lot of people that have said, listen, Archie Gray in the midfield hasn't really worked, and it's too stupid to put him in there when he's played so well at right back. Is Connor Roberts going to be fit? If he is, and you put him right back, I think you have to stick Archie Gray in the midfield. You can't go into these knockout games without having Archie Gray in the team, if you ask me. So those are the potential changes I would make. Connor Roberts right back, Firpo left back, and Gray and either Gruev or Kamara in midfield, and then I change the striker.
Any advancements on that, folks?
It's a tough one. I think it first of all depends on obviously who's fit, who's ready.
He can't start Pirro again, can he? I don't care that he scored a goal.
He will, though. He will, but he shouldn't. He should put Joseph, but he will
to loosely quote Nick McCarthy, Joe, he can.
Yeah, true. I can. Yeah, I love that, man.
I don't know, mate. I'm honestly not sure. I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure who he plays. I'm not sure who's the best option. I'm really not. I'll be honest with you, because there's a lot of things we can look at in the last games and talk about form and talk about who's been playing well recently. But this is a completely different kind of environment, and we have to, in a way, all these players, in my opinion, are going to have moments in these playoffs where we need them and we need their attributes. Whether that's Joe Perreault coming on, whether it's starting, they all have things that can help us win these games, and I think we'll need them because it's 3 legs and they can be long. They can go, the final game can go to extra time. It can be a long game. It can be a long 3 games. Like, there's so many aspects. Again, we're looking at Connor Roberts, a guy who's been promoted from this league. Do we play his experience? When some of them young lads are really struggling.
I would get him in at right back.
But then do you play, obviously, playing Kamara, who's played in the Europa League final?
I'm saying it, I'm dropping Archer. I'm dropping Archer, I think.
Oh, but that's it. So is that because of the experience? Is that because of form?
Yeah.
What is that down to? Experience?
Yeah, I think we need Connor Roberts' experience. I also like Connor Roberts on the right-hand side. He seems to have more of an attacking threat than what Archie has. And I think this season Archie's best minutes have come at right back. Also, I think we look a lot more porous when he's in midfield, just because he's not had enough game time and I just think as a unit, but then again, running off the ball, I mean, fucking Gruev and Kamara just stood there and let Will Smallbone just walk past
I think
them.
both of them have fallen off big time recently.
Yeah, they have.
No one's really been talking about Gruev, but he's put in some fucking very poor performances.
Really
and
passive,
I'd much rather have
really
Archie Gray in there.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Quality and breaking.
This is what I mean, lads. It's tough because all the players recently have been poor, and we kind of imagine, well, who's going to be the best for this situation now? You can't really change it too much because you don't have too much time between each game. But then you've got to go on. Who do you think's going to turn up on the day? Who's going to be the characters that are going to get you through this? Like, I look at Glenn Kamara. I got really annoyed with Glenn Kamara in that he just lets Smallbone run off him and doesn't track, and then gives up when he gets near the box, just stops.
And he's done that a few times, hasn't he? Really, this season.
He has. But when there was another moment in the game where a guy almost gets past him and he smashes him and slide tackles him. Well, do that. We need that player because, like I said, he's played in these finals. He's been in these situations. I don't think they won it, did they? But he's been there. He's been part of these. He understands this environment. But then, like you said, with Gruev, who's been passive recently. And you know what, Joe? I was watching because I'm sad. I'm a sad little man. I was watching Norwich's promotion season, the second one where they won the league. And I mentioned it in chat yesterday. I was watching Oliver Skipp, and this was like 2 or 3 years ago. And he's very similar to Gruev in the role in the team. But what he did really well, every time he got that ball, there was no hesitation. He knew exactly where it was going. And that, most of the time, was forward. He hardly ever went sideways. He went backwards or forwards, no in between. And for me, Gruev is everything sideways. A lot of it is sideways, and we don't progress forward. Now, that helped a lot because, and I mentioned this again in the thing, Todd Cantwell was in that team, and honestly, he is what Farke wants Rutter to be. He had that complete free role. He was playing left wing, by the way, Todd Cantwell, and he was picking the ball up at right back, centre mid, right wing. Like, he dropped between the centre backs at times, and he was unmarkable. I remember earlier in the season where Rutter would do that, and he was unbelievable. But with his form dropping off and that kind of consistency coming off, the front four's been very static, and that makes it difficult for midfielders. Because when you get the ball, that hesitation comes because the option isn't there straight away. So you opt to go back or you opt to go sideways. So it's kind of... Gruev's excellent if the front four are there and they're making the runs for him and they're giving him the options. And he's got that little bit of bravery to actually take that risk and take that risky pass because that's what we need him to do. That's his role. Looking at the way Skipp did it, Gruev can do that. Of course he can. They're very similar players. But he's not got that bravery that Skipp has. He doesn't like to take as much risks. So there's that side to it. But there you go. Do we need the risk takers? Do we do that? It's so many questions. I don't know. Axie, what do you think? What do you guys think? Tough, innit?
Yeah.
I think what you said on the static front four is why, if he's fit, I'd probably maybe start Dan James because you know that no matter what, he's going to be making those runs in behind and he gives you someone to ping a ball behind to. Whereas Nonto is more to my feet and I'll try and take someone on. That way you've got something different on the right as to what you've got on the left, and then you've at least got sort of options in terms of the way that you play forwards.
Do you think
I hear that,
Go on.
but at the end of the day, playoffs, and it's the reason I said I put Archie Gray over Gruev or Kamara. It's a cup competition football. It's not really cup, but it's a knockout football basically.
Yeah.
And those are games. A lot of the time, they're very cagey. They're games of few chances. You don't get a lot, so you need people who, in the right areas, like an Archie Gray, can pick out the right kind of pass, can create something. And if you're talking about someone getting in and around the box, if you have one opportunity for it to fall to, and you have Nonto one side, Dan James the other, I'm betting 8 times out of 10, Nonto's going to finish that more than Dan James. So if there's a big opportunity, I have more faith in Nonto in that pressure environment to slot the ball in the back of the net. That's not a criticism of Dan James at all, because he's vastly improved in that area of the pitch. But I just still think Nonto is ice cold in front of goal, man. Ice cold killer. He won't be as emotionally invested, especially because you said about these Welsh boys and the pressure of going back into it again. Nonto's a young kid. He's still got that arrogance of youth. He still knows his career is going to be made in a couple of years anyway, as long as he puts his head down. So those kind of players in that position is what you need. And in fact, a lot of people were saying, oh, Somerville's too cocky, he's too arrogant. Listen, that's going to carry us very, very well in this kind of game, because he isn't going to give a shit. He knows if we don't win anyway, he's up to the Premier League. So it can go one of two ways. Either A, you think he's not going to bust a gut and try as hard as other people, which is a bad side. Or B, listen, he's not going to be put off by the pressure. He's not going to be intimidated by anything. He's just going to be out there playing it as if, it's a normal league match for him. So in those situations, as I said, pressure scenarios, you need creators, finishers, and clinical players.
Yeah. And I think, given the fact that maybe he wanted to leave Somerville, but the fact he didn't push like Nonto did for to leave, and the fact that he stayed here and took that burden on his shoulders to stay at the club and be our best player, arguably, right, with all the goals.
And Championship's best player.
Yeah. So I think that shows that he is here for the commitment. He does want to get us up, regardless of if he goes to Liverpool or whatever. I think he is that guy. I know people are talking about that video. For me, I
was going to ask you about this.
Which video?
The harmony.
The one where he doesn't. He kind of ignores Pirro. Like, at the end of the day, I don't care as long as he's playing well. Somerville's the man that could win us this, right? He's the guy that will create the moment, like JT said. He's the one that I want to keep happy. Look, if he didn't want to shake Pirro's hand, fine, get on with it. It is what it is. There's 3 games left. As long as they don't fight or it doesn't affect the team or the changing room, it's not an issue. People don't get on, and they might not even get on. He might have just said, "Nice one, let's go." You can't hear him. So I'm honestly not bothered, mate. Like, I can talk about me, right? That player I am. If my best mate score, I don't even celebrate, because I'm annoyed he scored, because I want to score over him, right? But if it's someone I don't really know, I'll be, it's fine, man. It's football.
That's the thing. You don't know what it is. They might have had an argument about something unrelated.
They were talking over a free kick. The free kick. They were talking fine there after.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, mate. I get both sides of it. I do. But
do you think it's a case of, like, we all don't know what's gone wrong, so we're all like, everyone? I keep seeing, and they might be right, but I keep seeing this is like Crystal Palace when we fell off. This is, they're not getting on, or this and
but
that.
But the people read into this too much. It's commonplace.
Yeah.
All the best Championship teams, you listen, even the old United teams, not the best ones to bring up, but Roy Keane speaking, the old Arsenal teams, training grounds, they used to have bus-stops. They used to have bus-stops in the dressing rooms at half-time. They used to have bus-stops in the training grounds. Now, it's just because nowadays there's cameras everywhere, there's recordings everywhere. People are such snowflakes. They make such big things out of small things. I play Sunday League, yeah? One of my players we're in a regular training session, started trying to fucking scrap me on the pitch. It's just fucking regular things that happen within football. And at the end of the day, once you go into a big game like this, any of this rubbish outside of the pitch doesn't mean anything. If anything, it's a good thing, because it shows that they both really want to get the win. They both really want to win so badly that it's causing friction. And at the end of the day, for both of their individual lives, getting promoted is going to get them a lot more money, a lot more high-end exposure. It's going to improve their quality of life tenfold. So they're both going to want the same thing, which is to get promoted. So at the end of the day, there's no room for personal business or personal emotions in business. And that is, football's a business. So I don't see any problem with it, really.
No, I think
it's football.
you make a great point. And I don't go along with the whole thing of like, because another one is like, you can tell they're getting moves to Premier League, so they're not bothered and all that. And I don't subscribe to that either. At the end of the
that's
day,
it, Joe. Like, it'll be there anyway.
yeah.
So why would you not just put it? Yeah, it's not.
And that's the thing. Do you think a Premier League club is going to see, like, for example, if it was Somerville doing it, do you think they're going to see Somerville not give a shit and go, actually, yeah, I'm going to spend £40 million on that guy because sometimes he doesn't give a toss? That's
and also it's a trophy. It's a trophy to be won. At the end of your career, you're going to look back on these big games. You're going to look back on championship final.
I don't know if winning the playoffs.
What? Winning the playoffs? Of course it is. Are you kidding me? A packed out 80,000. Do you know how crazy that atmosphere is going to be?
I don't doubt it.
Packed out 80,000.
I'm not putting it on my medals. I'm not putting it on my awards. You're not
putting it on your awards. What? Winning? Do you know that moment? If you scored in front of a packed out Wembley Stadium,
I get all that,
to win the most lucrative football match in the world.
You're working for Sky.
It's literally the most lucrative football match in front of a packed out 80,000 seater stadium for a club which are a huge football club, which have always failed in this. If you're the man that delivers in that scenario, that clip of you knee sliding after scoring a 90th minute winner is going to be played over for decades. For decades.
It's like that,
more than anything. At the end of your career, you're going to tell your grandkids about that day. So these things are huge.
Leicester Watford, we knock out misses the penalty and they go to the Vren and that Danish out.
Good,
that's one of the most famous football clips in the last 10. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
You create moments in these games, and that's what football's about.
Look, just let me qualify, right? JT is I'm allowed an opinion. For me,
no, you're not allowed an opinion, mate. It's a federal law.
Right.
Everyone is entitled to my opinion.
Somerville at the end of his career, he's not going to be looking to say, that time he'll be wanting to win bigger things.
I'm saying, of course he wants to win it, but if he wins it, of course he's still going to look back on that. What?
Okay,
as a 21-year-old kid winning at Wembley Stadium, one of the most historically prestigious grounds in world football, winning the most lucrative game in
playoff. Like, are we?
Yeah, it really doesn't make it. This? Yeah, of course you still look at that. Even if you win big trophies after that, you're still going to look back on that day. What a packed out 80. What are you talking about, Joe? Well, you honestly waffling. This is a huge game. Everyone in the country watches that game. Everyone in the damn country watches that game, even if they don't support championship clubs. Everyone was watching flipping Luton last year, going crazy. If you score a Bobby Zamora special, look, even I know about that Bobby Zamora goal when he sent QPR up. People will remember this stuff. It goes into folklore. Of course, you're going to be remembered for it. Beckford scored a goal in the cup against flipping Man U when we were in League One. People still sing about it. Think they're not going to talk about Somerville at Wembley or whatever the hell happens. You know what I mean?
All right, I concede. You can have it, mate. You can have it.
Yeah, and Southampton will concede a Somerville special in the final as well.
Liam Moore says, evening lads, really appreciate the chat. My biggest fear in regards to the playoffs is midfield. Gruev, Kamara were key at one stage, but it ain't working now. Daniel Farker won't put Amps back into midfield either. Yeah, we've discussed that just a bit ago. I think, look, if he had Strauch available, he probably would, but I think everyone agrees that, Ampadu's gonna stay at centre-back, and it'll then be between Gruev, Kamara or Gray. Colin says, great to see you and Connor back in the Leeds chopper. Have to indulge in Palace battering the scum, or as JT calls them, United. We go up Joe on Penno. We go up Joe on Pennos in Wembley. Your watch on might be a record. Yeah, exactly. From a selfish standpoint.
At Wembley. Come on, man.
Mate, you're not coming. Mate, it's round the corner. It's literally a 20-minute drive for me. So if we get there, I would literally pay for someone's entire mortgage for a ticket for that. So you know what I mean.
Okay, well, speak to me, mate. I might be able to hook you
up. What about the Ellen Road one as well? When do tickets go on sale for that? If anyone,
they're out, bro.
Are they? Oh, for fuck.
No. Only 4 season ticket holders at the minute, though.
The 8th,
oh, right. Okay.
The 8th.
Yeah, I'm a plastic, so I don't have a season ticket.
Unless you've gone to plenty of home games, you ain't getting one.
Oh,
it's something like 14 home games you need to have gone to be in phase 2.
Fantastic. Great.
Yeah, it will be tough.
Anyone want to get me a couple of tickets?
I'm only about 9 off to qualify for that.
Yeah. It will be tough.
Anyone in the chat? I'll pay good money.
It will be tough. It will be tough. Right, okay. I'm just trying to think. What is there anything else? Right, actually, let's talk about this guy because I feel like I backed him all season, and it's only fair that I maybe take. Although I think we've all.
Joel Perot.
No, not Joel Perot. I'm going to talk Meslier, JT. Meslier.
Yeah, I like it.
What we saying, lads? Because I know we've been firm backers of him.
Cool. Who else we got?
Yeah, I know who else have we got, but
Darlow.
No,
Seriously?
I'm not saying, listen, I know we can't drop him. I know this. You know, those that are saying Klassen and all that. I think, yes, he's not conceded a goal, but he's dog dirt. But like
That's a bit harsh.
no, he is though, bro. He's not. Honestly, he's not great.
I would never criticize a Leeds player like that. I don't know what you're talking about.
So, what do we do about? Still think he'll be France's number one. Definitely not Vic. I've changed my mind on that one. I tell you that much. I did say that once upon a time. And he'd win Champions Leagues and stuff. But listen, you're allowed to change your opinion. I definitely don't see him winning Champions Leagues. But yeah, any thoughts on Meslier? Joe B. I'm going to come to you. You've been a staunch support like me. Are you still in that camp, or are we having to go? I might have to rethink it.
I'm in the camp of goalkeeper is the hardest place to play on the pitch. It just is. You make a mistake, everyone sees it, and everyone screams at you for it. You make a mistake up top, so think of the number of times Georgie Rutter has put a ball into orbit, and we just basically say it's a run of bad form. He'll come back from it. I don't know why we can't say similarly. It's a run of bad form for Meslier. He'll come back from it, because that happens for absolutely everyone. Everyone can have crap periods on the pitch and concede things that they shouldn't concede, and that happens at all levels. How much did Amadou Onana, not Amadou Onana, that's the midfielder. How much did Onana go to Man United for last summer as one of the best goalkeepers in the world? And look what's happened now. He's had a shitter. He's conceded 4 to Palace.
Yeah, Vic will tell you he's been the best Manchester United player this season, man. Sorry, Vic. Yeah.
But the thing is, like, you can have bad periods in net, but that's only exacerbated even more when the defenders in front of you are consistently letting you down and giving like finishes on a plate for the other side. Look at the goals against Southampton last weekend. First one, he's covering his near post like you should be. The ball is squared and there's just someone in miles of space at the far post. He's sprinting as fast as he can across his goal at full stretch and can't get to it. I don't think there's a goalkeeper in the league that gets that. Because because the distance he's had to go from I'm in the right place and covering my front post to shit, where's my defence gone at the back post is more than half the net.
Oh no, I agree. That was not his fault. I mean, I don't know why the hell you're leaving not just one but 3 whole men completely unmarked at the back six. What the hell's going on there, mate?
Yeah, and you concede any goal. It does. Yeah, well, you concede any goal, whether it's your fault or not, it's going to affect your confidence a bit. So even the goals that aren't his fault are going to affect his confidence, give him a little bit of a knock, and then these chances are going to keep on coming, and he'll keep making the occasional mistake. But as we've mentioned, who exactly do we want to replace him with? Carl Darlow, who fires short 10-yard passes at the speed of a bullet, or Christopher Klassen, who's played something like 4 times in senior games?
Yeah, no, I get that. But what? Okay, I hear we can't change him now. But what are we thinking ahead to the summer?
Depends. But listen. Depends if we're in the Championship or the Premier League. This is the huge difference. If we're in the Championship, we'll be lucky to keep him. If we're in the Premier League, maybe you can have a conversation. But even then, early doors in the Premier League, are there many better shot stoppers out there for?
I don't think he's a great shot stopper.
He's a decent shot stopper.
One-on-one. I think he's great one-on-one. Shot stopping, I don't think he is actually great.
Well, one-on-one is still shot stopping, mate.
No, I think it's different.
Shot stopping is literally.
He did get us all 3 points against Leicester away.
I think he's a good keeper, man. I think people.
Right, Joe,
I wouldn't blame him for a lot of the goals
that's
we
one
conceded.
game. Joe, that's one game. Give me some more games.
Mate, what about that Leicester game where you put about
that's the same
five
game.
reels out for him making
okay,
that?
Wait. Okay, so that's the same game. So I'm asking
What
now
about
for
the,
another game.
Yeah, but you're
What about the
talking
Leicester
about the
game?
past 2 months, basically. This is where you're saying Melié's gone off the ball because this is
Yeah,
the same.
I am.
goalkeeper-
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
the
I
same
am.
goalkeeper. Yeah, everyone wants to wax lyrical about the defense. Well, if you're going to wax lyrical about the defense, this is the same goalkeeper
I
that
hear all
went
this.
9
I do.
games in a year without conceding a goal from open play.
Yeah,
Right,
no,
I
I hear all this.
I think the defense has been more of an issue than Melié recently. I'll put it that way. Because the
I think
quality of chances oppositions have been getting have been far too good. And as you said, that's going to cause problems. Has he been perfect? No. But compared to what you can get in the Championship, I can't think of too many keepers that much better than him.
Yeah, for me, it's so he started off bad, and we can accept that based on the absolute battering he took last season with whatever that was. I think he's too much right now. It's current point in his career. I personally believe he's too much reliance on confidence. Too much. I know every player is and every goalkeeper is, but there seems to be no middle with Meslier. He either has an excellent game where he's outstanding, or one where he should save 2 or 3 shots. There doesn't seem to be a middle with him. I just think he relies too much on confidence. I do, and he is still young in terms of a goalkeeper's age. He's still got a lot to learn. But you're asking yourself now, in his current form, where he's not confident again because we've not won we've had 6 bad games. That's all it really took. And that's quite worrying. I think you look at Hideki and stuff like that, and he's made mistakes this season. He has. People acting like he's perfect. He isn't perfect. He's made mistakes. Johansson, again, people saying him, look, excellent goalkeeper. Have you seen him try to play off his feet consistently? It's not great. Better at long balls, agree. But I watched the clip. Yeah, it goes through his legs basically 1 to 2 times. But so every goalkeeper has their kind of good size and bad size. You're not going to get a perfect goalkeeper in this league, or they wouldn't be in the league, right? But the issue is, again, it's that confidence side of it. I think when he's playing well and he's got a good team around him, he's fine. He's confident. You can hear him more. When you're at the stadium, you can hear him speaking. You can hear him being loud. But I think he kind of goes into a bit of a shell. But the question is, when does that end? When does that confident streak end? Because it's too fragile for me. That's my kind of challenge to him is, how can you become a goalkeeper that even when everything around you is really bad, how can you become the most confident player? Because you need your goalkeeper to be confident. I get it. My best mate was a goalkeeper, and I used to batter him unfairly because I'm horrible, right? But I understood that.
I agree.
When we played in a bad team, by the way, so he got battered every game, and most of the time he was the best player. He'd make 4 or 5 saves each game, and we'd still lose 6-0. But he wouldn't stop. He'd keep going. He'd always be confident. And there'd be teams saying, well, we can have him. Can we have him? And stuff like that. I just feel like when the team shrivels, he does. But it shows more with him because he's a goalkeeper. And it's the basic stuff as well. At times he kind of forgets how long his arms are, and he kind of dives too far, and he doesn't quite make contact with the ball right. It's basic stuff like that. I think as a goalkeeper, what we need, whether that's him, whether he fixes that, or whether that's someone else, is a goalkeeper that when it is bad, because that will happen, especially in the Premier League if we're back up there, a goalkeeper that stands above everyone else and keeps you in games when it's really tough. He did it against Leicester, but we need more of that. You know what I mean? I want him to do that against Blackburn. He had 1 save to make, really. I know he did make a save in that game. But in that Blackburn game, that 1 save, make it, and then you get a point. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he's had enough of them moments this season for me. So yeah. I guess it's if you believe that he can find form and then be consistent even when it's bad for Leeds. Because if we go to the Premier League, there will be periods in the season where we're getting battered every week in terms of top teams having chance. And do you think he can step above everyone else and really be that confidence at the back? Because he's shown when we struggle, he struggles.
I've watched a hell of a lot of Ipswich, and that Hladaki, yes, he isn't perfect, but my God, he has pulled off some worldies.
When he needs to, yeah. When they're being battered.
Highlight reel worldies. I remember the double save against Middlesbrough was insane, and they were 1-1. Middlesbrough could have easily gone and won that game.
A couple of worldies.
Pardon?
A couple of worldies doesn't make a good keeper, though. A couple of nice saves. Melié's made a couple of nice saves this season, as you said. And you know what? I would actually pose an opposite question to you, which would be more telling if someone's a good or bad keeper. You threw us on the spot saying, name games where he's made big saves to keep teams out. I want you to name as many games as you can where he's made a clanger that's actually physically his fault that's cost Leeds. and not defense giving up a good opportunity. A save where you're like, definitely should have saved that.
There is so many over the last few weeks.
Give me some examples.
I don't even think it's a question.
Which ones? What's the examples?
Okay, well, 1 second. Let me just get Leeds United's results.
Oh, he's cheating.
No, I'm not, because I'll be able to remember Mate, my memory's shit. Right, okay, so the Southampton game, I think he should save. The one that Joe said he shouldn't when he's coming across. I do think he should save it. He gets a hand to it. It ends up in the back of the net. The two corners, I think, or against QPR. Yes, Mateo Joseph loses it. You go watch that Mateo Joseph one where he loses his man at the front post and tell me that Melier shouldn't save that. Please, I tell you what. I've got a video. I tell you what, I've got a video for you of it.
Oh no, that's unsavable.
Let's have a look at the goalkeeper here. Great goalkeeper.
Who's Mateo? Who's Mateo blaming there? Sorry.
No, but just watch the goalkeeping again. Just 1 second while I just play this clip. 1 second. This is just 2 games ago, by the way. There comes in the ball. Oh yeah, great goalkeeper.
What can he do there?
At what point did we say he was a perfect goalkeeper?
No.
Listen.
No.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, the one you said before was dubious. The one where they had 3 men at the back sticks. That was dubious. That was a very good chance.
Okay.
That one, even that. I mean, I think you're being a bit harsh on him there, to be honest. And that was a QPR game where we'd already thrown the game away, so he didn't cost us a game there. You know?
Right, okay, so we just forgive that then, because it didn't
of course
cost
we
us a
forgive it.
game.
Look, that was a game where everyone.
Right,
was
so
shocking.
say we're 2-0 down. Say we're 2-0 down, and then he concedes 5.
Well, we were 3-0 down.
No, but I'm giving you an. All right, okay, so say we're 3-0 down, JT, and he concedes another 5. Do we go? It doesn't matter. The game's lost.
Oh,
anyway.
it's not another 5. That's a big stretch. 1 goal to 5
No, but you
goals.
just use that. Right, let's talk about Middlesbrough. Let's talk about Middlesbrough's 3 goals. There is an argument. You could criticise him for each and every one. An argument. I don't agree, but there is an argument. Come on, Joe Blackburn, I've heard you clicking on your computer. Give me something.
You can argue about anything, mate. I could argue that the earth is flat. You know, it doesn't make it logical. You're saying 3 goals.
And hear me. Let me just qualify. I have backed Melier all the way throughout the season. I have always, over the last few weeks, he's massively dropped off. Massively dropped off. Yeah, but look, Joe, you're good on XG numbers. Give me the XG for the shots faced, please, if you've got them in front of you.
Oh, which version of XG do you want? Post shot or normal?
Whichever one.
Admittedly, it's not fun.
Okay.
But the majority of that is in the last few weeks. It's not showing across
but
the
what
season.
Is that though?
Crap,
What is that though? Just out of interest, because Vic's telling me, according to XG, he's conceded about 6 more goals than he should have.
It's about 4, I think, across the season.
Okay.
Across the season? Yeah, 4. That's not bad. That's not a bad return.
I mean, where is it in
across
terms
46
of
games?
Right, wait. So compare it now with other goalkeepers in the league and tell me where it is.
It's not comparable to other goalkeepers because other goalkeepers have to face a lot more shots than Melier does.
But if they're saving more, that's better for them.
It's tougher to save shots when you're conceding less shots. The more shots you're facing.
No,
it's not. That's true. It's harder to be a goalkeeper.
Right,
it's harder to be a goalkeeper for a top team than it is for a bad team, because a bad team, you're facing hella shots, so you're active the whole time trying to make saves. When you're playing for a good team, you have to keep yourself focused for the entire game, for that one moment in the game where there's a big opportunity. It's a completely different ball game.
So you're telling me it is easier to be Jordan Pickford over Alisson at Liverpool?
Yes, 10 times easier.
Well, that's not true, is it?
1 minute, it literally is true, because if it wasn't true, Jordan Pickford would be playing for Liverpool. So that is the factual evidence that it is true. Let's say, okay, what? So you think Pickford's better than Alisson?
A goalkeeper.
So you think Everton would not trade Pickford for Alisson?
No, you
they
said.
Definitely would.
No, wait. You said if you're facing lots of shots, it's easier for someone who's not. So I would say to you, okay, so again, let's go to a keeper at the bottom of the league. I don't know, Dean Henderson at Nottingham Forest is a better goalkeeper then than Ederson because he's facing more shots.
No, he's worse. It's easier to face more shots. I'm saying it's the hardest thing as a goalkeeper.
I don't know what we're doing.
All of them. Listen to Aaron Ramsdale talk about how hard it is to keep himself focused and how he has to go and chat shit to the fans.
But because that's him though. He's got ADHD or something, bro.
Exactly.
That's not all the same. Not all goalkeepers.
Okay, they might not have the same problems, but it's still a lot harder to keep yourself focused for the entire 90 minutes and keep yourself switched on for one shot because you're not fresh. It's the same way if you're playing football. If you've had loads of the touches of the football when you're outfield, okay, you get the ball next, you're going to be fresh. If you haven't touched the ball in about 15 minutes, your touch is going to be well off. And it's a similar thing being with a goalkeeper. If you haven't faced a shot in about 15, 20 minutes and all of a sudden someone comes one-on-one, you've got to switch yourself on and make sure that one shot, that one opportunity, I save. You don't have another opportunity to get your confidence back after that. If you're facing loads of shots, guess what? In a couple of minutes, you're going to have another shot to face. It's not flawed. You can listen to anybody. Listen, that's not something I'm saying. That is something that has gone on from the history of football. And
right, wait. So you're saying, right? Let me just say again, right? Of course, I hear what you're saying, right? You have to switch on, but that's like saying, I don't know, in your 9 to 5, right? You would rather be sat on a production line, adding the screw tops on a production line than not, because you would have more. I just don't get it. Maybe my analogy is
There's a big difference between putting screws into a production line and facing a shot in front of 40,000 rabid fans against clinical forwards.
But my point is, you're trying to say it's easier to do more work than it is less work. That's what you're saying, basically.
Can I give a
very nuanced pick of it? And
no, I'm not, bro. Go on, let someone.
The reason why those players are not.
Go on. Sorry, go on, Joe.
I've got a have done goalkeeping perspective on this one, and I see what JT is saying in that if you were to face the same shot in a game where you have previously faced a dozen shots, you are more likely to be in sort of the looseness, the feeling more warmed up to save that chance than you are to if you've not faced a single shot for 80 minutes. If that shot is going to the same place, if you've previously faced plenty of shots in that game, you're going to feel a lot more into it and have a better chance of saving it. In that way, I kind of get what JT is saying. I did have a look at the numbers as well. Per 90, Meslier lets in 0.07 goals more than he should. So that's like 3 over the season more than he should have. For context, Carl Darlow per 90 conceded 0.83 goals more than he should have done for Leeds United, which could you
compare him with?
You can't draw a comparison with someone that's taking more shots, as I said.
No, I'm not. I'm trying. That's why I said. So you could get me something.
Leicester.
Can I do one that makes me feel good with the narrative?
No, let's
because he looks good compared to Bazunu, for example.
Yeah, Bazunu
who has conceded 12 more than he should have.
Just compare him to Alisson.
Yeah.
I've now got to open a new tab, you dick.
No, but can we compare him to an Hledaki or compare him to Hermansen at Leicester?
Oh, Hermansen is looking vastly better than him. Who saves 0.13 more than he should. Hladky is about on his XG. He's 0.02 better saving than he should have done.
Yeah. He also has Hladky has less save percentage, just slightly, than Meslier. So
Hladky.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, Joe. And you were waxing lyrical about him making big save recently.
No, but he was making.
He has been recently. Meslier's stats are skewed because he started off really bad, where he was at the bottom of all of these. He genuinely was. He was at the bottom of save percentage, expected goals against, all that, saves prevented. Then I sent you in, I think January, February, Joe, when we were on that good run, and he was top 25 in Europe for save percentage. Yeah. He'd really got up there. He'd done really well, and then since the bad form hit, it's gone down again. So it's kind of just evened out in kind of that middle. So again, I come back to what I said previously. When he's confident and he's got 1 or 2 shots to save in a game and the team's doing well, he tends to make them saves. But when the team's bad and it's not confident and there's loads of pressure on the side, he doesn't perform as well as he does when he's confident. And that's obvious because he's not confident. But then it's that confidence level. How quick does that confidence go, right? Hermansen, for example, is basically more or less the top of the save percentages and stuff like that. He's had a really good season and he's been consistent throughout. You know, he might have mistakes and stuff, but he's been consistent throughout. When Leicester's forms dipped, Hermansen has stayed fairly similar in his performances. So it's about the confidence for me and how easy he loses it. And I don't like that. I don't like how easy he loses it and how that leads to him then not making saves that he previously would make, that he has made this season.
Because over the last few weeks, they have been, a lot of them, and the post-shot XG and all that backs it up, have been savable, right? They have been. We can't get away from that fact. And it's becoming a regular occurrence. Let's not forget, last season he was also taken out of the firing line. And I almost feel we're getting to that situation again. He won't, but my point is, when it's got really difficult for Mez, up here, there's been pressure on it, he has dropped the ball, you know? He has dropped the ball.
I don't think it doesn't help him that there's no real competition. At the end of the day, he knows he's going to play each game. And psychologically, well, he'll have to do one or two things. If you've got competition, he'll flop and it won't work and the other guy will come in. Or it makes you up your performance and you play better. He's not got it. He just hasn't. Darlow's clearly not been at the level we thought he would be. When we brought him in,
I don't know why anyone thought he would be at that level.
No, he had a decent season.
He had a
last year
decent season at Hull.
He played one games for Leeds, and I could see what the heck have we done here.
Yeah, I think Farkas saw that.
Klassen's better than him.
What have we done here? But he's not had that competition again. And you could argue he's not had it in years, to be honest.
Well, that's right. Yeah, Cole Darlow in his prime would have been a very decent acquisition for Leeds, but not his prime anymore.
Here's a question. Would you guys fancy Mez in a penalty shootout?
Big time, yeah. 100%. Iceman Mez. He would pull out big time. Everyone's criticising him. Everyone's lambasting on the hate for him, saying, he hasn't got a bottle in these big situations. And the young Frenchman himself plucks himself out in front of the thousands and the millions watching around the world. I trust him in that situation. Because in those kind of situations, I think arrogance of youth is very important.
Michael Finch, man, we're having a discussion about the keeper. That's the thing. We're not saying no one else was to blame because we were shy against Southampton specifically.
We could be here for hours, Joe.
Yeah, exactly. We're just honing in specifically on the keeper. Like I said, because as was said, you know, the cutbacks. I heard someone say, I think it was Rocco, say it was like Jesse Marsh again. Passed at back post, free man. Passed at back post, free man. So, yeah, we're not doing that, though. So, anyway. That's a discussion for the end of the season. My opinion's changed over the last few weeks, and I feel like I backed him.
Few schmeeks, mate. You know what I mean?
I've backed him all season. I feel like at the time he sort of let us down. I feel like he's let us down a little bit, but that's just me.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I hope that is fair enough as well. But you need to go back and educate yourself on being the keeper.
I'm what? Sorry, what am I educating myself on?
the Pickford and Allison thing, yeah.
Yeah, that's literally factually correct. That's literally factually correct. Otherwise, Pickford will be playing for Liverpool. But
yeah, anyway, I love you, man. It's all good. It's all fun, innit? Any final thoughts, anyone?
Nah, I've seen some comments on my last video, Joe. I just want to really quickly think about
tell them
the players have given up. I've seen that. Apparently, they all hate Farker now. They've all fallen out with him, and they've all given up, and they're not playing for the manager. I think that's absolute BS.
Honestly, I think it's true. I even hate Farker.
Sure. Yeah, it's absolute BS. It's crazy though, isn't it? You have one bad month, and then suddenly every player hates this guy. They hate him. They're not playing for him anymore. Forget the 17 game, streak you went on where you didn't lose, and you drew 2 games and won 15. Forget that 3 months. Just 1 month, all it took. Just 1 month of a few bad games.
Lockie, we just need Moyes in. Once we get Moyes in, before the playoffs as well, we'll be completely fine. That's the perfect time to change your manager.
Get him a few days with the squad, and then once the playoffs come, no brainer, mate.
100%. Right, boys. We will.
Moyes in.
Moyes in, yeah. Oh, did I just say 100%? to
Yeah.
that. All right,
A little bit, yep.
Sorry. No, my little boy's
Ryan
just...
Mason in.
Yeah, Ryan Mason. My little boy's just woke up for his juice and that, and I'll need a dip now. So yeah, sorry, I wasn't really listening because I was sorry.
Are you getting him on the juice early? Yeah.
Yeah, on the
Get those big biceps
on the
like
tremolo, mate. Yeah, I get.
trenbolone sandwiches.
I wake him up during the night for his pull-ups and that, and then put him back to sleep. Listen, everyone, thanks everyone for watching. Make sure you check out Lockie Leeds JT live, and also Joe Blackburn. Plenty of content coming out. Yeah, it's great to see everyone doing their thing, smashing it. So follow it. And like I say, we've got now, what is it? Monday the 6th, we play on the top. 6 days. 6 days between now and...
I'm actually, even just looking at the fixture time, I'm actually starting to get really nervous now.
Yeah.
I haven't felt like this for ages.
I know. It's gonna be mad, isn't it? But hopefully, like I say, we can win on Sunday, and we're the first game as well, so it'll just ruin the rest of the day, won't it? It's like,
Cool. Can't wait.
yeah, I know. Right, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, comments in, hit the notification bell. We will see you in a bit. Thanks everyone. Bye bye.
Au revoir.